An icy day here in mid-Missouri. We have live team coverage.
And the transition to liquid rain is happening all across central Missouri. We'll track this in temperatures hour by hour for the rest of the night.
3 days after the hospital closure, employees are asking what's next. This is KOMU 8 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
It started with sleet and then freezing rain. It caused all sorts of problems here in mid-Missouri. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jemrick.
And I'm Peyton Headley. Thanks for joining us. We've got team coverage this evening. We'll update you on road conditions throughout mid-Missouri and also tell you about the problems created at the Columbia Regional Airport. But we'll go ahead and start with our first alert weather team who has been tracking this storm from the start. Matt, when will temperatures reach freezing?
Yeah, well, temperatures already at freezing for some of us, especially areas along and south of I-70 as that freezing line continues to work north. Here's satellite and radar showing you a bit of a lull in the activity too. Still seeing freezing rain north of I-70, mainly rain south of I-70. And the reason for that? Those temperatures now at 32 degrees at the Columbia Regional Airport. From here, we're only going to rise for the rest of the night. So not a traditional night. Our temperature will continue to increase. 33 in Jefferson City, 33 at the Lake of the Ozarks, even 32 in Moberly now. We'll check in with Lucy here in just a few minutes in Storm Patrol 8. Winds out of the southeast going to pull in some warmer air. It's near 40 in Cape Girardeau. That's where I expect us to get through the overnight hours tonight. That's a warm weather direction pulling in that air. Winds currently sustained at 14 miles per hour. With some of the ice on the power lines, I do worry that we could see some power outages. Certainly an issue we'll be watching for this evening, though, as that transition to rain continues. Road conditions are improving. So I'm going to give you the yellow light here. Temperatures continue to warm through the overnight hours. Road conditions will continue to increase as well, getting better and better for us. Still going to be some slick spots. Obviously not the best night for travel, but some of you, of course, have to get out for work and other activities. Roads will be mainly wet later into the evening, but we are going to see more rainfall, and that does lead us to a minor flooding potential. We're going to talk more about that in an hour-by-hour track coming up in just a few minutes. But let's get a check of our traffic right now. Jacob Vanderpool has that.
Well, right now we are seeing roadways across the area looking mostly green on our live traffic map. Now, these green roads indicate where traffic is flowing about the speed limit of those roads. So green roadways mean open roads, but I will say that although most of these roads do appear green, this is not a road map when it comes to, say, whether the roads are icy or slushy. So this isn't showing how covered the roads are, it's just showing how well traffic is getting around. Right now in the northern portions of our viewing area, it does look like we are getting around pretty well. Same for, say, Boonville, Columbia, Hallsville, central portions of the viewing area also getting along pretty well. And in the southern portions of the area, say Jefferson City and surrounding areas, we are also looking at fairly decent travel speeds right now. But again, just because these roads are green does not mean they don't have slush and ice on them. So make sure to take it easy and be careful if you do have to be out tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at some drive times for you. Boonville to Stadium Boulevard, 16 minutes. Kingdom City to Highway 63, 17 minutes. And Highway 63 also looks pretty good there. Now we will be rejoined at the news desk.
Jacob, thank you very much. So are mid-Missouri roads and highways clear or slippery?
KOMU 8's first alert weathercaster Lucy Dahl continues our Stormward team coverage. She's live in Storm Patrol in Moberly. Lucy, what are the roads looking like right now?
We're currently heading north on Highway 63, back up towards Moberly, where the road conditions are switching from that slushy slush we've been seeing the majority of this day into more of a wet road condition here, and that is because our rain is really starting to pick back up. We did see it lull out just a bit into this afternoon, but as we head throughout the rest of this evening, that rainfall really going to stick with us. We have seen about 6 spinouts along 63 today, so even though those rain is starting to switch to be rain rather than freezing, conditions are still going to be pretty slick in some areas. Our traffic is moving rather slowly, about 10 miles per hour below the speed limit, and that's been the story for the majority of the day, as everyone's taking a little bit of extra precaution as heading out onto roadways. I wouldn't advise heading onto roadways unless you absolutely have to, and if you do plan on getting out there, make sure you have your headlights on, your wipers are going, and you have that defroster really turned up, as our windows are still fogging up because conditions outside are still pretty cold. The good news is we've seen a lot of plows treating our road throughout the area, so conditions will continue to improve overnight.
Okay, Lucy, thank you very much. KOMU 8's Jacob Lang spent the day both in Jefferson City and Columbia. He continues our live team coverage. And Jacob, how did Jefferson City compare with Columbia?
Yeah, Jim, in Jefferson City earlier today, the roads were pretty much just wet without any ice. Now, the conditions have improved here in Columbia, but earlier we saw a lot more slick conditions. This is some video from earlier today. This is along I-70 in Columbia. The first one, the car is in the ditch, and then another one turned over in the median. Then the last one along Highway 63 with another car off the road. In Jefferson City, though, it looked to be well treated. Jefferson City Public Works says it hopes that there won't be any more problems to face.
We're cautiously optimistic that we won't have too much more trouble, but we are keeping our crews in through, until the point that we're pretty sure that there's no freezing going to be taking place.
Smith added that if you do have to be out on the road, to slow down and to increase the distance of following of the car in front of you, that'll help you and everyone else on the roads be safe. Live from Columbia, Jacob Lang, KOMU 8 News.
Here's what's happening right now. Hundreds of Columbia residents are in the dark after a truck hit a utility pole. It happened near Paris Road and College Avenue. This is video from just a few hours ago. Crews, however, are still working.
And more weather news. All flights in and out of the Columbia Regional Airport are canceled for the rest of the day.
And leaving travelers out of luck until tomorrow morning. KOMU 8's Morgan Rydell is live at the airport with details on when things shut down. Morgan.
I'm here live at the Columbia Regional Airport, and while outside sits pretty full in the parking lot, you can see this lobby inside is completely empty. But that wasn't the case this morning when passengers showed up expecting to fly. The first flight that was canceled was at 11 a.m. Some travelers rebooked their flights for Sunday, while others opted for flights out of St. Louis and Kansas City. One passenger trying to fly from COU today was searching for any way to make it to Chicago. He says he has a once-in-a-lifetime event tomorrow he doesn't want to miss.
It was from Columbia to Chicago. I'm supposed to be a godparent for my friend's child. Still trying to get out there as fast as I can. I'm going to find a way. There's going to be a way to get out there, and I'm going to find it. So.
Right now, the next scheduled flight out of COU is tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. For flight updates from Columbia Regional, visit our website at komu.com. Live in Columbia, Morgan Rydell, KOMU 8 News.
Speaking of airports, icy conditions at the Kansas City KCI caused a Delta flight to skid off the taxiway. An Airbus with 129 passengers was set to take off at about 6:30 a.m. While the plane was taxiing, the front wheel went off the pavement. No one was hurt. That resulted in the airport closing for about an hour and a half. It reopened at 8 a.m. just to close 30 minutes later for more de-icing. In other news, 2 people are under arrest in Montgomery County for a 2017 death investigation. 31-year-old Lindley Rennick and 35-year-old Michael Humphrey are both charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Benjamin Rennick was found dead 2.5 years ago. Court documents show the case went cold until a year ago. Prosecutors say someone came forward with information. The witness said the 2 first tried to poison Rennick. When that failed, they murdered him. They're both being held without bond. Fulton police arrested 2 people after investigating a stolen package. The 2 are identified as Sierra Crabtree and James Miller. Neighbors were able to capture images of their car and license plate. Witnesses say they were following a delivery truck.
Coming up, days after a hospital shut its doors, former employees are getting a lifeline.
Plus, as temperatures drop again, a warning from the fire department on staying warm and safe.
And temperatures are 8 degrees warmer than they were at this time yesterday. That trend continues all night long. We're going to continue to warm up. I'm tracking that coming up.